In the pursuit of nourishing oneself during the golden years, vegetables stand as the cornerstone of senior nutrition, abundant in fiber, antioxidants, and vital vitamins that promote heart health, enhance cognitive function, and maintain digestive harmony. However, it may surprise you to learn that the way you store your vegetables can hold equal significance to the varieties you choose to consume. Indeed, placing inappropriate vegetables in the refrigerator can diminish their nutritional value, complicate digestion, or potentially lead to adverse effects over time. Conversely, certain vegetables require refrigeration to avoid spoilage, maintain their nutritional value, and safeguard your well-being. In the latest video from NutriHobbyist, we delve into the 4 vegetables that seniors should avoid refrigerating, alongside the 4 that must be kept chilled to ensure their freshness and safety. These insights hold particular significance for older adults, as their digestive systems and immune defenses may not possess the same strength they once did. A seemingly minor error, such as placing the incorrect root vegetable in the refrigerator or neglecting to store leafy greens properly, can result in nutrient depletion, the risk of foodborne illness, or even unwelcome digestive distress. As we grow older, even the simplest choices, such as the placement of our fruits and vegetables, can significantly influence our daily emotions. Given that vegetables are frequently consumed in their raw state, roasted, or gently steamed, it is crucial to store them correctly to enhance both their flavor and nutritional advantages. Whether you're curating your weekly grocery selection or fine-tuning your habits for enhanced food safety, this guide will empower you to make wiser decisions for a more robust and resilient body. We shall begin with the initial vegetable that seniors ought to avoid placing in the refrigerator, despite the fact that numerous individuals continue to do so. Potatoes reign supreme as the vegetable most ill-suited for refrigeration, a carbohydrate-rich essential that becomes harmful when stored in the refrigerator. For generations, potatoes have served as a beloved comfort food and a fundamental part of the diet, particularly among older adults who value their adaptability and tender texture. However, although they are nutritious when stored and prepared properly, refrigerating potatoes can lead to a harmful chemical reaction that presents health risks, especially for seniors. For this reason, potatoes rank at the forefront of vegetables that seniors ought to avoid refrigerating. The problem resides in the inherent starches present within potatoes. When kept in chilly environments, like within the confines of a refrigerator, these starches start their transformation into simpler sugars. At first glance, this may seem innocuous, yet those sugars can interact with amino acids during the cooking process, particularly when frying or roasting, to create acrylamide, a chemical compound associated with nerve damage, inflammation, and a heightened risk of cancer with prolonged exposure. For older adults already navigating chronic conditions such as arthritis, diabetes, or kidney disease, the consumption of acrylamide from improperly stored potatoes may exacerbate inflammation and oxidative stress. Actively opposing initiatives aimed at improving dietary habits for enhanced well-being. In addition to the chemical implications, refrigeration influences the texture of the potato as well. It has the potential to render the flesh gritty, sweet, and unpalatable, thereby compromising the light, airy texture that many seniors favor in their mashed or baked potatoes. Consider the story of Geraldine Jerry Rusk, a 78-year-old retired elementary school principal hailing from Peoria, Illinois. Jerry had a habit of storing her potatoes in the fridge, believing that this would prolong their freshness. Yet, she began to perceive an unusual sweetness in her roasted creations, accompanied by a troubling increase in her indigestion thereafter. A brief conversation with her granddaughter, who is pursuing a degree in nutrition, uncovered the issue. Jerry transitioned to keeping her potatoes in a cool, shadowy pantry, and within a week, the digestive discomfort dissipated. What is the best way for seniors to store potatoes correctly? Store them in a cool, yet not cold, dark, and well-ventilated space, such as a pantry, root cellar, or a paper bag tucked away in a shaded cabinet. Refrain from encasing them in plastic, for the accumulation of moisture may result in mold growth or sprouting. The optimal range of temperatures lies between 45° F and 55° F, a degree above the chill of a refrigerator yet sufficiently cool to stave off premature spoilage. In conclusion, although potatoes can be quite nutritious when cooked properly, keeping them in the refrigerator may transform them into a potential health risk, particularly for the elderly. For enhanced flavor, safer dining, and improved digestion, forego the refrigerator and provide your potatoes with a dark, dry sanctuary away from the chill. away from the chill. Next, we shall delve into another root vegetable that countless individuals store in the refrigerator without a second thought, unaware that this practice diminishes both its flavor and nutritional benefits. The least favorable vegetable to store in the refrigerator is 2. Onions, a flavorful essential, lose their benefits and create complications when subjected to cold temperatures. Onions stand as a staple in culinary practices, imparting both rich flavor and numerous health advantages. These ingredients brim with antioxidants such as quercetin, promote heart health, and enrich the flavors of soups, stews, and stir-fries. However, in the realm of storage, a significant error is often committed by many individuals. Storing onions in the refrigerator can pose challenges for seniors, resulting in spoilage, digestive discomfort, and a notable decline in both flavor and nutritional benefits. Onions, therefore, rightly earn their place on the list of vegetables that seniors should avoid refrigerating. When you place raw, whole onions in the fridge, certain changes unfold. The chill and humidity within the refrigerator lead to the onion's softening and dampness, hastening its decay. This fosters the proliferation of mold and bacteria, especially on the surface layers. Once mold spores take hold, they do not remain merely on the surface. They can penetrate deep into the layers, rendering the onion potentially unsafe for consumption, particularly for seniors whose immune systems may be compromised. Moreover, onions draw in moisture from the refrigerator, leading to a quicker transformation of their starches into sugars. This changes their flavor and causes them to deteriorate more rapidly than they would at ambient temperature. For older adults with a delicate digestive system, such alterations may lead to bloating, discomfort, or gas, particularly when raw onions are ingested. Consider the story of Vincent Vince Ellsworth, an 82-year-old retired train conductor hailing from Billings, Montana. Vince had consistently kept his onions in the refrigerator, believing it would extend their freshness. However, he started to observe that his onions had become slimy, emitted a faintly sour odor, and no longer cooked as they once did. Following his participation in a community health seminar focused on safe food storage, he transformed his habits, opting to keep whole onions nestled in a basket within a cool, dry cabinet. The onions not only endured the test of time, but also banished Vince's post-meal indigestion. What is the proper method for storing onions? Store whole, unpeeled onions in a dark, dry, and well-ventilated area, such as a basket tucked away in your pantry or cupboard. Refrain from placing them in plastic bags that retain moisture. Opt for mesh bags or open containers instead. After slicing into an onion, the remaining part can be stored in the refrigerator. Ensure that you secure it snugly and consume it within a few days to avoid any spoilage. To conclude, storing whole onions in the refrigerator is not just superfluous. It may also compromise their safety and efficacy, particularly for the elderly. To enhance flavor, extend shelf life, and promote easier digestion, store your onions in a cool, dry location rather than in the refrigerator. Next, we will delve into a common kitchen essential that loses its texture and taste when kept in the cold, potentially impacting your gut health in the long run. The third worst vegetable to refrigerate is tomatoes. This nutrient-rich fruit loses its vibrant flavor and health benefits when exposed to cold temperatures. Few vegetables, or more accurately fruits, hold the same affection and adaptability as tomatoes. From vibrant salads to comforting stews, tomatoes stand as a cornerstone in the diet of seniors, celebrated for their abundant lycopene, vitamin C, and potassium, elements that bolster heart health, enhance skin integrity, and fortify immune function. However, improper storage can diminish many of those advantages. For this reason, tomatoes hold a prominent place among the vegetables that seniors should always keep out of the refrigerator. Storing fresh, whole tomatoes in the refrigerator interrupts their natural ripening process and harms their fragile cell structure due to the cold temperature. This leads to a mealy texture and a lackluster, diluted flavor, rendering tomatoes less pleasurable and diminishing their nutritional value. For seniors who depend on flavorful, tender foods that are gentle on the teeth and easy to digest, this alteration in texture can render tomatoes not only unappealing, but also less beneficial in their everyday meals. The impact of cold storage extends to lycopene, the potent antioxidant responsible for the vibrant red hue of tomatoes. and their heart protective benefits. Research indicates that refrigeration may diminish the presence of lycopene and various phytonutrients, potentially leading to seniors missing the anti-inflammatory and cholesterol-lowering benefits that tomatoes are celebrated for. We shall delve into the life of Agatha "Aggie" Bellamy, an 85-year-old retired botanist hailing from Athens, Georgia. Aggie cherished the art of crafting fresh tomato sandwiches, yet she began to perceive a disheartening shift in their flavor, now tinged with a blandness and an unwelcome grit. As her daughter arrived and inquired about the location of her tomatoes, Aggie gestured toward the fridge. To her astonishment, she discovered that refrigeration was the source of the problem. Upon transitioning to a fruit bowl on the counter for her tomatoes, she swiftly observed a revival of their rich, full flavor. Moreover, she discovered that her digestion had enhanced, experiencing reduced bloating and discomfort. What is the best way to store tomatoes for optimal freshness? Store whole, uncut tomatoes at room temperature, ensuring they are shielded from direct sunlight. A stylish counter or a well-shaded pantry proves to be quite effective. When a tomato reaches the point of overripeness and immediate use is not in your plans, it is advisable to refrigerate it to avert spoilage. After being sliced, tomatoes ought to be kept in the refrigerator and consumed within a day or two to ensure optimal texture and safety. To summarize, placing fresh tomatoes in the refrigerator is an error that can diminish their flavor, compromise their texture, and reduce their nutritional advantages, particularly for seniors who depend on nutrient-rich, tender foods. To truly savor their flavor, allow them to ripen naturally on the counter, away from the chill of the fridge. Next, we shall delve into a beloved culinary staple that many seniors opt to refrigerate for ease of use. However, this practice may diminish its shelf life and compromise its distinctive flavor and advantages. The fourth vegetable that should never see the inside of a refrigerator. Garlic, a natural remedy that diminishes its potency and deteriorates more quickly when stored in the refrigerator. For centuries, garlic has served not merely as a flavor enhancer, but also as a powerful ally in boosting immunity, lowering blood pressure, and promoting heart health, benefits that hold particular significance for the elderly. The natural compound allicin bestows garlic with remarkable antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties, rendering it a small yet formidable enhancement to everyday dishes. Storing garlic in the refrigerator can swiftly diminish its flavor, reduce its longevity, and undermine its health benefits. Garlic is precisely the type of vegetable that seniors should avoid refrigerating. Storing garlic in the chilly, damp confines of a refrigerator exposes it to moisture and condensation, creating an environment ripe for mold growth and early sprouting. This not only alters its flavor, rendering it bitter or rubbery, but also diminishes the concentration of beneficial compounds such as allicin. Even more concerning, sprouted or moldy garlic can provoke irritation in the digestive system, particularly for older adults who possess sensitive stomachs or compromised immune responses. Storing garlic in cold conditions leads to the premature separation and peeling of its delicate paper-like skin, which in turn exposes the cloves to air and hastens their spoilage. Refrigerated garlic, rather than enduring for weeks or even months, can spoil in just a matter of days, leading to wasted money and a loss of the medicinal benefits that this natural remedy offers. Consider the story of Wendell Duke Hathaway, an 84-year-old retired jazz pianist hailing from Asheville, North Carolina. Duke had cultivated a peculiar habit of stashing his garlic in the refrigerator, under the impression that it would remain fresher. However, he soon began to detect a sharp, bitter aftertaste in his meals, accompanied by an unsettling increase in bloating. In the midst of a nutrition consultation at his local wellness center, he discovered that the secret lay not in cold refrigeration, but rather in the cool, dry storage of his food. Upon relocating his garlic to a mesh basket within the confines of his pantry, the essence of its flavor flourished, rendering his meals more soothing to his digestion. What is the best way for seniors to store garlic to ensure they reap its full benefits? Store whole bulbs of garlic in a cool, dry, and well-ventilated area, such as a hanging basket, mesh bag, or a small ceramic garlic keeper. Steer clear of plastic bags or sealed containers that ensnare moisture. Once garlic is peeled or chopped, it is best to use it right away or store it for a short period in the refrigerator, ideally no longer than 1 to 2 days, in a tightly sealed glass container to avoid any transfer of odor. In conclusion, storing garlic in the refrigerator compromises its flavor, shortens its longevity, and diminishes its health benefits, elements that are far too precious to forfeit, particularly for the elderly. To achieve optimal results, keep garlic in a traditional manner: dry, dark, and away from the chill. Next, we will delve into the 4 vegetables that seniors must ensure remain chilled, beginning with one that deteriorates swiftly at room temperature and poses a risk if not kept refrigerated for an extended period. Leafy greens stand out as the premier vegetable to keep chilled, a delicate, nutrient-rich superfood that requires refrigeration. For seniors aiming to enhance fiber consumption, aid digestion, and safeguard heart and brain health, few vegetables hold as much value as leafy greens. Be it spinach, kale, romaine, arugula, or Swiss chard, these delicate greens brim with vitamins A, C, and K, as well as folate, magnesium, and potent antioxidants that safeguard aging cells. Yet there exists a singular principle that must not be disregarded. It is essential to maintain a cool environment for leafy greens. That is the reason they hold the esteemed position at the forefront of vegetables that seniors should ensure are kept refrigerated. Leafy greens tend to lose their vitality and crispness rapidly when kept at room temperature. Of greater significance is their elevated water content, which renders them exceedingly perishable. When not kept refrigerated, they transform into a fertile ground for bacteria such as E. coli and Listeria, present considerable health hazards, particularly for older adults whose immune systems may be compromised. Refrigeration serves to not only decelerate the spoilage process, but also to safeguard the precious vitamins that leafy greens are celebrated for. Vitamin C, for instance, deteriorates swiftly when subjected to heat and light. Maintaining a chill for greens preserves their nutritional integrity and wards off the slimy, soggy deterioration that renders salads unappealing and unsafe. Consider the tale of Henrietta Hetty Bloom, an 86-year-old former poetry professor hailing from Eugene, Oregon. Hetty cherished the vibrant freshness of greens accompanying her lunch, yet she often neglected to refrigerate her farmer's market treasures, believing they could comfortably rest on the counter for a few days. One afternoon, following the consumption of a spinach salad that had been carelessly left out overnight, she found herself beset by stomach cramps and nausea, prompting an urgent visit to the care facility. Hetty now ensures her greens are meticulously stored in the crisper drawer, and she insists that this simple act prolongs their freshness and enhances their flavor as well. What is the most effective method for seniors to preserve leafy greens? Store them in the original breathable bag or in a loosely sealed container within the vegetable drawer of your refrigerator. To preserve freshness, line the container with a paper towel to soak up any excess moisture, and refrain from washing the greens until just before you intend to use them. Surplus moisture fosters decay. When purchasing in bulk, it may be wise to separate the items into smaller portions. This approach can help minimize handling and decrease their exposure to air. In conclusion, leafy greens serve as a treasure trove of nutrition for seniors, provided they are stored at low temperatures. Refrigeration safeguards their flavor, consistency, and safety, allowing older adults to enjoy all the advantages without the digestive hazards. Next, we shall illuminate a crunchy root vegetable that frequently succumbs to sogginess or contamination when abandoned on the counter, yet remains crisp, clean, and invigorating when stored correctly in the refrigerator. Carrots rank as the second-best vegetable for maintaining a cool temperature. A crisp, vision-enhancing root that retains its crunch solely in the chill. Carrots hold a special place in the hearts of many older adults, and rightly so. These delightful morsels are sweet and crunchy, offering a satisfying chew when cooked. They are rich in beta-carotene, an antioxidant that transforms into vitamin A within the body, bolstering eye health, enhancing immune strength, and promoting skin renewal. To preserve these advantages and prevent spoilage, it is essential to store carrots in a cool environment. Thus, they secure their place among the vegetables that seniors should store in the refrigerator. In contrast to certain root vegetables that thrive in cooler pantries, carrots are particularly vulnerable to moisture depletion and the risk of bacterial contamination when kept at room temperature. When neglected, they lose their firmness, turning rubbery and susceptible to mold, particularly in warm or humid conditions. For seniors who depend on carrots as a fiber-rich, vision-supporting snack or accompaniment, this could signify losing access to one of nature's most accessible superfoods. Moreover, refrigeration significantly hinders the degradation of beta-carotene, aiding in the preservation of the essential nutrient that imparts carrots their vibrant orange hue and health-enhancing properties. This is especially vital for seniors facing age-related vision issues such as macular degeneration or cataracts, as vitamin AA is essential for preserving healthy retinas and enhancing low-light vision. Consider Noreen Nora Winscott, an octogenarian retired antique dealer hailing from Lincoln, Nebraska. Nora took pleasure in preparing sliced carrots and celery sticks on Sundays, setting herself up for the week ahead. In the past, she would leave them in a bowl on the kitchen counter for easy access. Upon observing that they frequently became limp or developed white spots within a matter of days, her daughter proposed the idea of keeping them in the fridge, nestled in a container filled with a touch of cold water. Since making that switch, Nora's carrots remain crisp for more than a week, allowing her to savor her midday snacks with assurance, fully aware that they are still safe and brimming with nutrition. What is the best way to store carrots to ensure they remain fresh for as long as possible? Store whole, unpeeled carrots in the crisper drawer of your refrigerator. Begin by removing the leafy tops if they are present. These extract moisture from the roots, hastening the process of spoilage. Peeled and sliced carrots can be preserved in a sealed container filled with cold water, with the water being changed every few days to maintain their freshness and crispness. In conclusion, carrots are a fiber-rich, vision-enhancing vegetable that should find a place in every senior's refrigerator. Maintaining a chilled environment safeguards their crispness, taste, and above all, their nutritional integrity. Thus, you can savor each morsel, fully aware that it contributes positively to your well-being. Next, we will shine a light on a moisture-rich vegetable that, if abandoned on the counter, can attract bacteria, yet flourishes in the cool embrace of your refrigerator. Which vegetable is best suited for refrigeration, and how would you rank them? 3. Cucumbers. A nourishing, digestive-friendly vegetable that succumbs to wilting in the absence of refrigeration. Cucumbers might appear to be just another salad component, yet for seniors, they provide hydration, aid in digestion, and deliver a refreshing relief that few other vegetables can match. Cucumbers, composed of more than 95% water, serve as a refreshing ally for older adults, aiding in hydration, alleviating bloating, and promoting bowel regularity, particularly in the sweltering heat of summer or warmer climates. However, owing to their fragile texture and elevated moisture levels, cucumbers require refrigeration. That is the reason they rank highly among the vegetables that seniors should store in the refrigerator. When cucumbers are kept at room temperature for more than a day or two, they start to soften, turn yellow, and spoil quickly. The heat hastens the evaporation of moisture and fosters the proliferation of bacteria and mold, particularly at the ends of the stems. This not only impacts their invigorating crunch, but also heightens the risk of foodborne illness, a significant concern for seniors with compromised immunity or delicate digestive systems. Moreover, the electrolytes and B vitamins present in cucumbers exhibit a sensitivity to heat. Keeping them in the refrigerator aids in maintaining their nutritional value, particularly silica, a compound that enhances skin elasticity and joint health, both vital aspects as we navigate the journey of aging. Allow me to introduce you to Marshall Marty Pooler, an 81-year-old retired school bus driver hailing from Flagstaff, Arizona. Marty would often place his cucumbers in a fruit bowl, left to rest on the kitchen counter. Following a series of squishy slices and a slight bout of food poisoning, his daughter recommended that he begin refrigerating them right after his grocery trips. Marty has taken to storing his cucumbers in the vegetable drawer, claiming that not only do they endure longer, but they also possess a crisper, more refreshing taste, particularly in his afternoon cucumber mint water. For optimal freshness and safety, place cucumbers whole and unwrapped in the crisper drawer of your refrigerator. Should you find yourself with sliced pieces, arrange them in an airtight glass container, accompanied by a paper towel to soak up any excess moisture. For optimal texture and flavor, aim to use them within 5 to 7 days. Refrain from encasing entire cucumbers in plastic wrap, as this can lead to moisture accumulation and hasten their deterioration. In conclusion, cucumbers stand out as a refreshing, hydrating, and nutrient-packed vegetable that should be kept in the refrigerator, particularly for seniors in pursuit of digestive ease and skin vitality. Maintaining their chill safeguards their texture, shields their nutrients, and guarantees that each bite contributes to your well-being. Next, we will explore a vegetable that is both fragile and fleeting, yet when kept correctly in the refrigerator, transforms into one of the finest allies for enhancing bone health and bolstering immunity. Bell peppers stand out as the ultimate vegetable to preserve, a vibrant, vitamin-rich powerhouse that thrives in the cool to maintain its freshness and potency. Vibrant, crisp, and overflowing with taste, bell peppers transcend their role as mere embellishments in your salad. These vegetables stand out as some of the most nutrient-rich options, particularly beneficial for the elderly. Bell peppers, abundant in vitamin C, vitamin A, potassium, and antioxidants, play a vital role in bolstering immune strength, fostering collagen production, and promoting bone health. However, to maintain these advantages, it is essential that they are stored at low temperatures. For this reason, bell peppers undoubtedly belong on the roster of vegetables that seniors should store in the refrigerator. When left at room temperature, bell peppers swiftly shed their moisture, resulting in a soft, wrinkled texture and a decline in flavor. The warm air and light hasten the degradation of vitamin C, a compound that is inherently delicate and vulnerable to heat. For seniors, particularly those aiming to bolster their immunity or recover from injuries, this loss of nutrients can subtly undermine the efficacy of a thoughtfully crafted diet. Storing bell peppers in the refrigerator preserves their vibrant colors and crisp texture while ensuring their nutritional value remains intact for an extended period. Regardless of whether they are red, yellow, orange, or green, each variety serves as a remarkable source of anti-inflammatory flavonoids and carotenoids. These compounds play a vital role in safeguarding against cellular damage, oxidative stress, and chronic disease, issues that are particularly significant for older adults. Imagine the tale of Florence Flo Parnell, a 77-year-old retired seamstress hailing from Mobile, Alabama. Flo cherished the vibrant crunch of raw bell pepper strips in her lunch, yet frequently neglected to store her fresh produce properly after shopping. As time passed, she observed that the peppers had taken on a rubbery texture, and her hands seemed to throb with increased inflammation following each meal. The local dietitian highlighted that improperly stored peppers may diminish in vitamin C content and freshness, particularly under the sweltering southern sun. Flo now stores her peppers in a breathable bag within the crisper drawer, and she insists that her joints feel improved and her salads taste more vibrant. For optimal storage of bell peppers, maintain their whole and unwashed state within the refrigerator's vegetable drawer. After cutting, place them in an airtight container or zip-top bag and consume within 3 to 5 days. Should you observe any soft spots or signs of moisture accumulation, take a paper towel and gently dry the affected areas to avert spoilage. In conclusion, bell peppers stand out as a superfood ideal for seniors, requiring a cool environment to preserve their delightful crunch, vibrant flavor, and immune-boosting nutrients. When you store them correctly, you safeguard their inherent advantages, ensuring that each vibrant slice contributes to your well-being, one delightful bite at a time. Having explored the vegetables that belong in the refrigerator and those that do not, we can now synthesize this knowledge into a concluding insight that will empower you to make wiser choices in your kitchen, promoting safer and healthier aging. With the passage of time, even the most minute aspects of our food handling can significantly influence our well-being. Among the myriad of habits that often go unnoticed, one stands out as particularly vital: understanding which vegetables thrive in the cool embrace of the refrigerator, and which ones are best left to their own devices. In this video, we have delved into the vegetables that seniors ought to keep out of the refrigerator, including potatoes, onions, tomatoes, and garlic. Cold storage has the potential to compromise their texture, diminish their nutritional value, and in certain instances, pose health risks. These items flourish most effectively in cool, dry, and dark surroundings. When stored with care, they enhance digestion, elevate flavor, and extend longevity. Conversely, we have pinpointed certain vegetables that seniors should store in a cool environment, such as leafy greens, carrots, cucumbers, and bell peppers. These tender, moisture-laden vegetables demand refrigeration to maintain their crispness, preserve essential vitamins, and thwart the growth of harmful bacteria, particularly crucial for seniors who may have compromised immune systems or experience slower digestion. At NutriHublis, we hold the conviction that the journey of healthy aging begins within the comforts of one's own home. It frequently begins in the heart of the home, the kitchen. Storing your vegetables properly safeguards their flavor and nutritional integrity, while also minimizing waste enhancing food safety, and elevating the nourishment and pleasure of every meal. Consider examining your fridge and pantry with renewed eyes. Are your tomatoes languishing in the chill when they ought to be basking in the warmth of the counter, ripening to perfection? Are your leafy greens left out, gradually losing their valuable vitamin C? If this video has illuminated the art of storing your vegetables for optimal health and longevity, we invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Which of these storage tips caught you off guard the most? Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to NutriHublis for more science-driven insights that empower you to live well, eat wisely, and embrace aging with confidence. One healthy habit at a time.